Hey guys, today is going to be the last video I film on my iPhone, which is really exciting. I've ordered a new camera from Amazon and it's meant to come late this week or next week, so I'm really excited. And so this is probably the last video I'm going to film on my iPhone, so that's why I decided this week to just do a chatty video that doesn't require a lot of high quality. I've got a lot of videos I want to film, but they would be a lot nicer and higher quality, so I thought I'd just film this video this week, and then next week, if the camera comes, or the week after, I'll start filming videos that are more like, I don't know, high quality I suppose, I don't know. So this week I decided to film a video on a blog post I saw on Facebook the other day. It's an article from a girl. I don't really want to say her name just in case, I don't know, I don't want to bully her. I just think that what she said was really wrong, but she's also entitled to her own opinion, so I mean, you could easily find the blog post, I just feel like not really naming her name. But her blog post title was called 9 Signs Your Mental Illness is Made Up for Attention. Yeah. When I first saw this, I thought, it can't be that offensive. I kind of honestly didn't even second really think about it. I just clicked on it and started reading it and I was very offended. Although there were some of them that I was actually quite upset by and quite offended by, I was kind of more upset and offended for other people that have mental health conditions who don't have people by their side, for people that have to face this alone. To read these kind of articles must really like put you down and make you feel shit. So I thought I'd make this video and tell you, if you've read it, then it's a load of shit and don't even believe it at all. So yeah. I have my laptop here with me and I'm just going to read out each point that she's made. She's written 9 points which she thinks makes you an attention seeker for making up your mental illness or whatever. The first point she made was, you use it to be an asshole to other people. If you don't call someone back, it's not because phones give you anxiety, it's because you're an inconsiderate asshole. If you don't show up to a friend's birthday party, it's not because you're bad in social situations, it's because you're an inconsiderate asshole. If you take your stress out on other people for no reason, it's not because you're depressed, it's because you're an inconsiderate asshole. Mental illness, although convenient, is not a catch-all reason to treat people like shit. What? You can kind of see the gist for the whole article from the first point. You can kind of see where it's going, where her head's at, all that kind of stuff. She's obviously not gone through what a lot of us have gone through. She's obviously not even that though. Like, I think a lot of my friends don't suffer with mental illnesses and they would never even think that. They are really understanding, supportive people, and I know most of the people that I know and most of the people I'm friends with don't suffer from mental illnesses, and they still have the common sense and they are still people that obviously understand, and they support me through all of it, and they would never dream of like thinking any of this stuff because they're normal human beings that have feelings and a brain in their head. So there's not really an excuse of she's not suffered with it. It's just she's very, very ignorant. First of all, of course, there's a lot of things that people with anxiety cannot do, or other mental illnesses. Going to friends' birthday parties is a big deal and sometimes it's too hard. Phoning people, whatever your thing is that you can't do it. And you accept that, so other people should accept that around you. If they don't, that's it. Don't accept it. You're not an asshole for finding situations difficult. You are struggling with something that you might need help with. You are trying your best. As long as you're trying your best and you know you're trying your best, don't worry about what anyone else thinks. You're not an asshole for not being able to do something other people can do. One day you might be able to do the things that everyone else can do. One day you might be able to go to your friend's birthday party and phone people and do whatever your scary thing is. But right now, you might not be able to, and you just need a bit more practice with it. Don't think that you're a horrible person for needing more practice than other people. I think the most offensive part of this first point is that she said that mental health is convenient. I don't understand what part of mental health can be convenient. It's very inconvenient. I just don't get it. And I agree to a certain extent with what she says of taking out your mental illness on other people. I don't think that's okay. I think everybody goes through things, and your thing might be mental illness, and just because you're going through that, it does not mean that you can take it out on other people. It does not mean that you can be mean to other people. So I do agree with her on that. I mean, everyone has their thing, whether it's mental illness, whether it's family stuff, friend stuff, school stuff, stress in different ways, work, I don't know. Everyone goes through something and it's just as significant and it's just as real as your thing, and although yeah, you might be in bad moods like everybody else, and sometimes you can take them out of other people by accident. If you constantly use that as an excuse, it's not okay, and I think you're kind of giving people a bad image of mental health if you do that all the time. 2. You're constantly sharing shit about it on social media. Every time someone writes a powerful essay on whatever website about their struggle with upper middle class anxiety, you share it. You share how to date someone with. You share 7 things only people with OCD know. It's your whole identity, and you're constantly reminding people that you are sick and brave and in permanent struggle against the world. What? I think the most hitting thing about this is upper middle class anxiety. I don't understand how being in a certain social class means you can't have anxiety or depression or anything like that. It's nothing to do with money, it's nothing to do with social class, nothing to do with what school you went to. It's all to do with the chemicals in your brain. I don't think the chemicals in my brain know how much money I have, what school I went to. I think it's to do with mental illness. I don't think it's anything to do with the class you've been in. As for sharing things on social media, I'm somebody that doesn't tend to do that a lot, but at the same time, why can you judge somebody for doing it? You don't know what they're going through in their life. Shut up and let people do what they want. If you're a person watching this that wants to share your struggles, whether it's mental illness or anything else, you feel free to share that. It's nothing to do with anybody else. If they don't like it, they should unfollow you. Sometimes a lot of people use their social platforms to kind of help themselves. Yeah, you do what you want. Don't let somebody tell you what you can and can't post on social media. 3. You list in your bios. If your bio announces from the let-go that you have depression before you even mention, I don't know, a job or a hobby or an accomplishment, you need help. And not in the Lexapro? I don't know, department, in the you have nothing interesting to say about yourself besides the disordered department. Like I said, a lot of people use their social medias as platforms to kind of talk about what they're going through. I'm lucky enough to have a lot of friends and family and a nice boyfriend who I can talk to about these kinds of things, but I know a lot of girls and guys that go through this and they use their Instagrams and Twitters and stuff like that as a way to kind of say this is what I'm going through, and they can meet other people through that. I know a girl who her Instagram is surrounded by like what she goes through on a daily basis. She can't really talk to her parents about it, she doesn't really have many friends, and she uses her social platform to kind of meet other people who are in a similar situation to her, and I think that really helps her knowing that there's somebody else out there going through the same thing as her, and that's how she uses hers. And if it helps her overcome her struggles and if it helps her get through each day, I don't see what's wrong with that. Like I said, just let people do what they want to do. If you really have a problem with them putting it in their bio or tweeting about it or whatever, unfollow them. Like why do you have to put them down and judge them? Just let them do what they want. 4. Your definitions of illness changes all the time. One day depression means you can't get out of bed or tie your shoes or pay bills. The next it means you want to stay home and watch movies. The next it's not that serious. Your definition changes all the time depending on the context and how sick you want to look. I think this is the one that offended me and worried me the most, because I often get worried that my friends or family members or boyfriend is going to think, oh well, she's sick one day and not sick the next day. But then I realise, no, it's how I feel. For me, a lot of the time it's kind of situations, and situations make me anxious, other situations don't. There's certain situations that I know I can cope with, and it's also certain days you wake up and you kind of feel confident about it, other days you wake up and you think I can't do it. It's all about mentality. Don't feel bad about being able to do something one day and not the next. It's like many things in life, a lot of people have good days and bad days, a lot of people find things easy one day and not easy the next day, and mental health is the exact same. And from things I've experienced in life, I think mental health is the most fickle one that likes to be fine one day and not the next. And in a lot of cases, some people find certain things fine, so I'm one of those people that I can kind of easily do things that are around my area, but things that are further away I can't really do, and people understand that. If they don't have to understand it. I can't change the way I am. I think that's the most important thing to remember. You can't change how you are. If people want to kind of not understand, or if they can't understand, then that's you kind of just have to deal with that. I know it can be quite difficult and sad, but yeah. But the reason this worried me the most is because I always think like, well, for example, like my boyfriend, like one day I might be able to go to the cinema with him, the next day I might not even be able to meet up with him, and it just depends on how much my brain decides to worry about things and how much I decide to let myself kind of get under by it, I suppose. I could have the exact same thoughts on each day, but sometimes you can deal with it and sometimes you can't. Sometimes it does get the better of you, and just accept that. The only way to be happy is if you accept that's the way you are. And I mean, I'm not saying you need to accept that that's who you are and that's who you're going to be for the rest of your life. You can make gradual changes and little baby steps to becoming the person you want to be, but at the moment don't like push yourself into I should be doing this, I should be okay. Let yourself kind of go through life saying, yeah, I have this kind of mental disorder, I'm going to keep going and keep working on it, and then one day I'm going to get out of it. If you keep doing little baby steps, you will get out of it. 5. When it's convenient, your illness takes a back seat. Unless something really fun is coming up and you manage to get it together, or you want to impress a date by pretending that you're really active and outgoing and happy, then you're fine. Well, I mean, if you're going to meet a guy or a girl for the first time and you fancy them, you're not going to usually straight up say, yeah, I've got depression, anxiety, schizophrenia, and I'm really ill. It's like a lot of things. Like if you met somebody for the first time, you wouldn't go up to them and say, yeah, I really struggle with work, I have no money. You don't always tell people your problems straight away. A lot of people with mental illnesses are happy outgoing people. A lot of the time other things get the better of them, but for the most part they are happy outgoing people. So when you first meet somebody, you always tell them the best things about yourself. You always kind of go in with the positive things. Also for this point, like I know if there's something coming up, say it was my dad's birthday in 2 weeks and he was having a party and it was a big party, for those 2 weeks I would be shitting myself, but I would kind of make different arrangements and different plans in my head of how I was going to cope with it. For example, I know the day before I wouldn't leave the house, I'd just relax all day, so I was kind of prepared for the next day. I would think about tactics and strategies the whole of the 2 weeks. I'd think about taxis, I'd think about who I could go home with, I'd think about if I wasn't feeling well, what's the best course of action. I would think about, would my dad be able to take me home? No, probably not because it's his birthday. Okay, what other options do I have? I'd think about all the people that would be there. I'd think about whether I wanted to eat there. I'd think about absolutely everything, and I'd kind of be a lot more prepared. If, for example, tomorrow my best friend turned around to me and said, yeah, I'm having a super crazy party and like blah 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 blah, a lot of the time that would make me a bit more stressed because I don't really know, like I've not had time to think about this. When something really fun's coming up, you want to be able to prepare for it, and you prepare for it the best you can. Sometimes you fail and sometimes you can't do it, and sometimes you get there and you don't want to do it, and sometimes the pressure is too much and you don't end up doing it. But a lot of the time that's the reason why we find it a lot easier if we know something's coming up, because we'll have planned for it for weeks. At the same time, I don't know why people feel like, I don't know why I'm having to justify myself to this person and say, well, the reason I'm doing this is because of this. Like, I know why I can't do certain things and why I can't do other things, and that's just the way it is. I would gladly sit down with this girl and explain to her my whole thought processes and all that kind of stuff, but I don't think she's very interested in finding out what it's like, so I won't. 6. You think it's controversial to talk about. If you think it's still a controversial thing to announce to your Facebook friends that you struggle with bouts of anxiety, you're either living under a rock or looking to be a martyr. It's not controversial anymore. Everyone is open about their struggles with mental illness, and posting stuff about you shouldn't be ashamed of your depressed girlfriend is just redundant. If you really need to announce it, fine, but don't pretend like you're being brave by saying you're sad sometimes. Come on! What is her problem? Like, shut up. I think this is making me like a lot more like, I don't know, like I feel like laughing, like why? I understand, like totally 100% that some people don't understand this, but why would you go to the effort of writing an article, a 9-point article, just to put other people down? Why would you do that? It's just so mean. Anyway, I just really don't understand this point. She's saying that it's not controversial to talk about, although she's just made 5 other points about how it is controversial and you shouldn't post articles about how you're struggling with your middle class anxiety, and then she goes on to say you should post it on Facebook because it's not controversial. I suppose I believe that it is and it isn't controversial to talk about. It is because some people still don't understand and you could get grief for it, and in other ways it's not, because a lot of people do understand nowadays and you don't have to get grief for it. Whatever way you feel like telling people about it, whatever way you want to, if you do want to or not, it's entirely up to you. If you want to make your whole Facebook page about your anxiety or depression, do it. If you don't want to, then don't do it. Don't let somebody put you off. Whatever you want to say on your social media is entirely up to you. I think you need to remember that people are posting things for a reason. They're not just posting it to be attention seeking. They're posting it to say, this is what I have, please can you just accept it? If it was more of an accepted thing, people wouldn't probably feel the need to post about it as much. I don't know. I'm not every single person that suffers mental illness, but I totally understand why people would want to post about it. I totally understand that some people don't have the support that I have. I totally understand that sometimes people just like to talk about it. Let them do it. 7. Even though your relationships have clear patterns, you don't accept that they might be your fault. It's never you. It's always your string of completely unique exes who all just happen to be terrible people and just couldn't accommodate your illness. Ugh, next time you'll date somebody who gets you. I don't know. I don't really understand this one because it's very obvious that she's talking about somebody in particular here. I've never come across somebody that blames all their past exes for their mental illness or whatever she's trying to say, so I don't really know what to say about that. But I think that this is kind of like a general thing. It's not just people with mental illnesses. A lot of people have lots of exes that they feel badly about. I don't really know what she's trying to say here, so I'm going to move on. 8. You constantly post baiting things so that people will ask what's wrong. It's been a bad day, sad face. Not feeling good. Ugh, I can't even. Yeah, you're posting those statuses because you want people to ask how you are, and you want to vent about it. But everyone has problems, and using the feel sorry for me card over and over again is incredibly irritating for everyone around you. For this one, I can totally understand, seeing those statuses all the time are probably quite annoying to a lot of people, and I can see why, but I don't think this is a mental illness kind of specific thing. I think, in fact, the vast majority of people I see on Facebook and Twitter and whatever saying it's been a bad day and wanting to talk about it are people that I don't know. I didn't know they suffer from mental illness if they do, and I don't think they do. People often write statuses saying it's been a bad day. It's really not a mental illness specific thing though. So many people write about how they've had a bad day and they don't have depression or anxiety or whatever else. It's nothing to do with that at all. Just ask them how they are. Just ask them if they're okay. Ask them what's going on. Ask them how they are. They're obviously, if somebody's writing that status, I agree, they probably are looking for a cry for help. They're probably looking for somebody to ask them if they're okay. So why don't you just be that kind of person? Instead of judging them and saying, oh, they're so attention seeking, why don't you just message them on Facebook, asking them if they're okay, asking them if they want to talk about anything. Just be a nice person. Blah. 9. You're not trying to get better. Maybe you take medication, maybe you're in therapy, but when it comes to the behaviour that you're doing over and over again, you're not interested in the hard work that is required to overcome a mental illness. You're interested in talking about it and identifying yourself as a person who has, but you're not interested in getting better because that's no fun. Fuck. I don't even know how to begin on this one. This girl, I don't know. Because I don't know, while I'm making this video about how I think she's wrong, she still kind of made me feel like I don't really want to talk about it because I don't want to look like I'm attention seeking. But it's nothing to do with being attention seeking. I don't want anyone to ever feel sorry for me at all. That is literally the opposite of what I want. I want to be a completely normal person because I am, but she's kind of making me feel like, oh, if you do talk about it then you're being attention seeking. But that's the whole reason I'm making this video, so I'm going to stop that. But I don't think she understands how hard it is to overcome these behaviours. If your mind has constantly told you something bad's going to happen if you do that, don't do that. If you've constantly been under this spell of your mind for years and years, it's so hard to overcome. It's not impossible. You can do it with a lot of hard work, but a lot of the time you can't really see how much hard work somebody's making because their steps are completely different. A lot of the steps can be in your mind as well. A lot of the steps can be about ignoring nasty thoughts and maybe not necessarily doing something drastic that somebody else can see. You can't see mental illness and you also can't see somebody getting better. Taking medication and going to therapy are two massive things that you're doing to get better. If you're doing that, you're definitely on the right track. I agree with her in saying you need to do more than that if you really want to overcome your mental illness, but take your time. Nobody else can tell you how long you have. I remember a lot of family members used to always be like to me, you've got till spring next year, then you should get a job and that should be you sorted and you'll be fine by then because it's a whole year away, and that would just make you feel worse. It'd make you feel so much more pressure. Only you know your goals, only you know how much you can do. That's the end of this video here. I hope that nobody found this attention seeking and nobody found this an annoying rant. It was me just seeing something that I thought a lot of people on here might like, because a lot of you have written in the comments that you suffer with mental illnesses and anxiety a lot of the time, so I thought maybe you'll like this and maybe it'll benefit you in some way and make you feel maybe a bit more positive about yourself. I hope it did. But thank you very much for watching, and next week it should be a video on my new camera, which is exciting. But thank you for watching. Bye!